Hi, this is James Gordon Torley here with the second and final book in the Enassi series. The book I will be reviewing today, The Enemy Within. Alright, this was published in 2015 by Paragon Books. This was not a good sequel. I did not enjoy it as much as I did with the first novel, Destiny's Edge. While there were a few moments I did like, and particularly probably my favorite part is when we're shown what the feline race planet looks like. I really liked the scenery, how the planet looked and stuff, and there was a lot of like rich detail within that scene. However, I was really disappointed there was not much action like there was in the first book. I felt the plot wasn't like that good. Like it had a lot of interesting ideas, but things are just resolved very quickly, and there was a lot of political drama in the book, which I didn't like, and some other stuff I really did not enjoy this novel. So I was disappointed with the sequel. I was expecting much more and some more improvements, but I didn't really get that. While I didn't hate the book, I just didn't like it. As they all say, we can't like everything. So I'll explain more in my review about why I did enjoy this book and the problems and issues I had with it and a lot of other things. Alright, onto the book review. Plot. Captain Cal of the Canturian explorer ship Sea Honey receives a distress signal from Captain Cal on Aladdis, who is also good friends of his, was concerned that his friend might have been killed after his ship disappeared. He contacts command right away and they order Cal to go rescue Cal and his surviving crew members, as they'll be sending a squad of assault ships to attack the Decay forces. Meanwhile, Jev and his boyfriend Keel sense someone crying for help as the two quickly leave the cave they are hiding in from Decay patrols. Cal is against this, but the two state they must go. Cal allows them, but warns them to be careful and avoid drawing unwanted attention as they can't afford any more setbacks. Jev and Keel leave the cave and travel through the forest till they find a house where they hear a young boy crying. They enter inside and are shocked to find a 4-year-old boy who's been badly abused and beaten. As Jev goes to help the child, Kale is furious and finds the father as he murders him brutally. They take the child to Dr. Samurai while avoiding being spotted by both Decay and Rebel patrols. Sam is glad to see Jev is alive, but is shocked to see his new Canturian form. Jev explains what happened and how they found the boy Aiden. Sam is glad to hear someone has taken care of that mean father as he goes to treat the child's injuries. However, Sam reveals that in Lars' will, he was meant to be Jav's guardian angel to look after his son if anything should happen to Lars. He also reveals that the rebels are looking for them as they've been framed for murder. Jav knows who's behind this, Captain Harris. After the child is patched up, Sam begins packing up his things as he's coming along with Jev and the others. Meanwhile, Captain Harris wishes to get revenge on Jev's brother Michael, along with another member who has left the rebels. Harris is also planning a coup to take control of Alasia and is trying to frame the Centurion as enemies. He leads a team of rebels that's after Jev and Cal. However, both Jev and Cal sense they are being followed by Harris along with his squad of heavily armed rebels. Knowing they can't allow them near the cave, both Jev and Cal link up with their telekinetic powers by creating an illusion of Decay soldiers shooting at them, which causes Harris and the rebels to flee as they're shooting at nothing. Jev, Cal, and Sam carry the child, are able to escape and return back to the cave where Tila is able to fully heal all of Aiden's injuries. Jev and Kel also believe that Aiden might have physical powers as well. After resting for a while, Kel reports that a shuttle is coming down to rescue them, and they also see a swarm of assault ships floating above Alessia. They leave the cave and travel through another section of the forest to reach the ship waiting for them. Cal is waiting for Kale, who is pleased to see him and the surviving crew members along with the humans who have joined them. Cal also tells them they have begun fighting the Decay as they wish to drive them off the planet. However, they fear the human colony might attack them as well. Miguel contacts a member of the Alessia Council to let her know that the Centurions aren't their enemy and that Harris is staging a coup. The council member will aid in their quest and warns her of Harris's plans. Cal's shuttle takes Kale's crew to an inn in another part of town to meet with the Alessia Council. However, also there is Harris with several rebels who try arresting Michael, but the head council, Janae, refuses this and warns any acts of violence will lead to anyone being arrested. During the meeting, it gets off to a rough start with Harris trying to blame the Katurians for starting the war with the Decay and calling Jev a traitor to his people, and adds some very not so nice things to the Centurions, which nearly causes a roar within the meeting. However, the council is very skeptical of this, as both Cal and Cable able to tell their side of the story. The meeting will continue another day, while Janae wants to know who murdered Alan's father, as she won't allow murder to escape justice. However, Jev and Keel are able to prove their innocence by showing Janae the horrible things Aiden, father, did to his own son, which nearly makes Janae sick. She forgives the both of them, however she won't allow Aiden to leave Alessia, stating he's part of the colony, but Sam steps in and will look after the child since he's leaving to join with the Caterins. Janae gives up and allows Aiden to join them, however Michael tells Jev he's staying behind to ensure that Harris doesn't cause any more problems and to form a new leadership. But states they will meet again. After a very rough day, Jev and Keel retired to bed as they've been wanting a moment alone to themselves. The next morning, Jev, Keel, along with Kel and Seal's crew and members of the Alessia Council are loading up the shuttle to join the Centuria. As Jev says his final goodbyes to Michael, however, some of the rebels are joining them, which makes Jev and Keel uneasy about this. After leaving Alessia behind them as they board the ship Centuria, they are greeted by members of both the Caterin along with the Telepath Guild, who will further train both Jev Keel along with Aiden, as it seems his abilities are growing stronger the more he's around them. At first, everything seems to be going fine, with some Canardians appearing friendly towards the new visitors, while some are skeptical of the humans. Later on, Jev, Keel, and Aiden get something to eat while being shown around the ship and their quarters, a very large room. Both Jev and Keel are very happy they are able to share a bed to spend more personal time together. The following morning, Jev and Kale are on their way to visit Tira to have some tests done on them along with Aiden, as Sam is accompanying them. Suddenly, Jev senses danger in the air but is unable to pinpoint where it's at. Suddenly, a figure is spotted in the shadows and aims a laser pistol at Kale. Jev pushes his boyfriend out of the way and is shot in the arm by a red laser beam. The assassin flees while the alarm is triggered. Sam tries his best to stop the bleeding, but it's losing a lot of blood. Then, to everyone's shock, Aiden uses his powers to heal Jev's wound but passes out, taking Jev to medical as Tira is able to fully treat his wounds. When security comes in to take a report on both Keel and Sam explain what happened, they are told the assassin has an illegal implant installed into his head known as a psychic damper, which creates white noise so telepaths are unable to read the thoughts of his or her mind. While Jev makes a full recovery, however, he, along with Keel, are about to be drawn into a deadly conspiracy with members secretly working against the Caterins, who wish to remove both Jev and Keel, along with someone else who holds a grudge against Keel. Together they will face many challenges, but prove the power of love is an unstoppable force that will keep them together no matter what. The Enemy Within was not a good sequel. While there were a few moments I did like, but overall I didn't like how the story went. I felt this novel was focused too much drama and political stuff and not enough adventure or action. While we get a returning cast of characters along with new ones that I either liked or didn't, but was thankful Harris wasn't in the rest of this story. While the writing structure was good along with rich detail within the story, but the pacing in the beginning felt rushed, as both the main characters have to suddenly leave the cave to rescue a young boy who is being abused at the hands of his evil father. This sudden dark scene came out of nowhere, as it felt like getting punched in the gut. Then having to read political drama after this made these scenes rough to get through. Later on, the story moves away from this as there was less drama. However, I was disappointed there wasn't any sex scenes, as the author teases this throughout the novel, as it only shows the characters lying in bed after doing it or just cuddling each other. One of the strangest scenes that I didn't see coming was when Cal wishes to have a child, but since he won't have sex with a female, Tira, along with Sam, explained to Jev that his body has enough storage space to have female reproductive organs implanted into his body, allowing him and Cal to conceive a child together. I was completely caught off guard by this, and having to read further scenes with the characters talking about the operation along with the pregnancy scenes was very cringy. There was very little action within this story, as I expected more with the conspiracy plot and thought I would get to see more battles with the Decay or with the cult that's brought up in the story, but got none of that. Almost all the problems the characters face is always resolved quickly. While I like this series on the Kate Duran homeworld is it features a lot of rich detail and made me more curious what else was on this planet, as it mentions band posters that Jeff sees on his brother's bedroom wall. However, this is towards the end of the novel as we don't get to see much more on this planet. Overall, I didn't enjoy The Enemy Within as much as I did with Destiny's Edge. Not a terrible novel, but could have been a lot better, as I felt there was so much missed opportunity with the plot, more scenes of other homeworlds, more action, along with seeing Jeff and Keneal getting it on as well. If you wish to check out this series, that's up to you if it piques your interest, as some might like it more than I did. And that's the review today. Yeah, I did not enjoy the sequel that much as I did with the first book. Like, it had its moments, but it just was not good as the first book. I was kind of let down with it. I was expecting, the offer to make many improvements over the first book after, like, a 5-year gap from the first one. I was expecting, to see some more scenes of action, adventure, um, and sex, of course, because there is no sex scenes in this story. Every time I expected we're gonna get a sex scene with the two characters going off to a bedroom to get it on, it always cuts to them wake up in bed or just cuddling each other. I was really, really disappointed with that. I was like, come on, even if it was just one scene, I would have been fine with that. So there's that, and I also felt the novel quickly resolves a lot of the problems the characters face. Like just when they're about to face something serious, it's quickly resolved, it's over with, and then they don't have to worry about it, and it just goes on to the next part of the story where it goes to another problem, but that too is quickly resolved. I was kind of, I was kind of annoyed with that. I thought, come on, like, it's going to take a little longer um, for these like bad guys to just easily give up. I expected, them to put more of a fight than just simply giving up after their plan failed. I was also I thought the conspiracy theme was really interesting. I was expecting to see more of that, but as I said, it's quickly resolved, and that's the end of it. Then it just goes on to another problem the characters face, and the cringiest scene I've ever read was when the main character agrees to have female reproductive organs installed to him. It was the cringiest scene I've ever read, and having to read more scenes, the characters talking about this, the operation, the pregnancy scenes later on in the book, I was like, I did not like that at all. It was just, I was completely caught off guard when this came into the book. It's like, what is this? There was another scene that was a bit cringy too. Was one of Cal's mates appears towards the end of the book, who is absolutely not happy that he is basically choosing someone else over her, and she's like waiting at the kind of like the station where they get off the ship, and she insults Jeff with one of the most cringiest lines ever, and I was like, oh, that was a really cringy line. And then she demands a challenge to like some duel or something, and Jeff says, "I accept your challenge." Before finding out later on, it's a fight to the death, and it's like, Jeff, don't just open your mouth and say I'll do something. Wait until you hear what it is first before you make your mind. And this is of course when the character is pregnant later on in the story. So it's like, oh man, I'm sorry, but that male pregnancy thing really caught me off guard, and I really didn't enjoy it at all. So yeah, this was not really that good book. Maybe some others will enjoy this book more than I did, but like I said, we can't enjoy everything, right? I definitely will still check out Jason Flanagan's other books, as I got 3 books, part of a fantasy, kind of like urban fantasy series, and he's got a new novel. I'm actually going to I'll go with the new novel first before going on to the fantasy series later. Alright, that's it for the review today. Hope you enjoyed it, and this will be the last book review you will see for a week, as I'm going to Toronto to the Furry Convention for a nice little trip. So I'll be back next week, and I'll get started on this book when I get back. The Getaway by Jim Thompson. I figure it's time to get some crime and thriller novels on the channel. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and please don't forget to subscribe to Octaro Library Review channel and the Facebook group with the same name, and please support your review of fiction. Until then, I'll catch you later.